You know what? King Kong really needs a place to stay, so we're going to give him a cave. All right, today we're going to be installing the Diddy's mods King Kong Cave. So it's basically going to go over this area and give a little bit of decoration to that. Really no functionality other than some interactive lighting. But it's going to be a nice addition to go with our gong mod and some of the other stuff we put on this machine. So follow along. Okay, Diddy's Pinball mods made this kind of cool little cave for our King Kong pinball machine. We're going to be installing this today. There's your components that you're going to get. You're going to get the cave, some assorted wiring, some mounts. It's a relatively easy install, some basic tools, 1/4 inch, 11/32, and a Phillips screwdriver. You'll be able to put this mod on yourself. Okay, so I've got the Playfield in the service position here. I've pulled out the balls. First step is we're going to dismantle some stuff on the top side. First thing you want to do is remove this piece of plastic. It's 2 Phillips head screws that screw into some aluminum posts. Pull that out, set them off to the side. Some of these parts you won't be using again. You can put them in the coin box when you're done. So that's first step, step number 1. Okay, next step is we're going to be removing this little habit trail. It's going to be attached by 2 screws or 2 studs and nuts. It uses an 11/32. So you want to remove this one first, and then we'll go to the back. And that one's loose. Now we'll move on to the other one. Okay, second nut you're going to remove is here. You can generally get through it right through the other wire foam. You don't need to really remove this upper one, so it's not too hard. Little extension on a wrench, and you'll be able to pull this one right out. So, all right, note there will be a washer here, so don't lose that, because that will fall in the machine somewhere. So when you're pulling it out, be very, very careful, and this will just pull right out. All right, next step, we're going to remove this habit trail. There are 3 nuts holding it, one right over here, one kind of in the middle, and one on the back side of this. So you can just start anywhere and remove this. Each one of these has a nut with a washer, so be careful, don't drop them. All right, this habit trail we'll just pull right off and put it to the side. All right, now we're onto this piece of plastic here. We are going to need to remove these 2 hex posts because they will not be used. So this piece of plastic needs to get loosened so you can get at the Phillips head on the bottom of those things. There's a couple of washers here, so don't forget those. Don't chuck them into the machine. All right, there's a nut here. This is actually a 5/16. Instructions didn't say that initially, so found that out a little bit later. So take this nut off, put it in your pocket, and that will give you enough flex in here that we'll be able to get at the underside. So now what you're going to want to do is grab your Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to pull these posts off. They'll go in your goodie bag in your coin box. And there's a little washer here. Again, don't lose the washer down inside. You might regret it later. That one's pretty tight, so I'm going to grab a 1/4 inch here and pull that hex post off of there. So I need my 1/4 inch because it's actually tightened up there pretty well, but we should be able to do it pretty easily. Get myself a little more leverage. I should crack that screw loose, and there we go. It's now a lot looser. Again, hex post, screw and nut, keep them handy. All right, next step is we're going to be putting the Kong cave itself on it. It actually comes apart. It's got held together with some magnets. You'll notice that in here, there's a big hole. First thing you want to do is feed the wire down through that. And then this wire is going to sit down next to the post between the rail and the post. So feed that through into there. It's going to be tight, so you're going to want to flex things and push it in. Drop it down inside there. And the Kong mod will basically do that. So put your plastic back down. The Kong comes apart in two pieces, and you drop it right onto those studs there. So that's going to sit like that. We'll move on to putting this habit trail back in, which will hold this in place. All right, first thing we're going to do is put the small habit trail back on. When you pulled it out, you know these were actually slotted into a bracket in the back, so make sure you put that in, otherwise the ball might not feed pretty well. But you're going to feed it right back in the way it was, and it's going to drop down back onto the mounts. So on this back one, make sure you put a washer on, and then one of the nuts. And this one, given the thing is now metal, you can just use the nut. Don't need to put a washer in it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to grab my 11/32 wrench, and I'm going to bring it down so it's, you know, not tight, but close. Just so it takes up some of the slop right out of it. Oops. That is the 5/16. So 11/32 is this one. So make sure you grab the right nut driver or tool, and you can tighten them up pretty loose, or snug, but not tight. Right, they're snug, but they're not on there fully. All right, we're going to put the large habit trail back on it. So this one will go in kind of around it. So it's going to go in through that. All right, and that should drop in pretty much like that. There we go. All right, now nut with a washer underneath. All right, when you're snugging this up, make sure you're looking at this edge. You want it lined up with the factory rail. You don't want it sticking kind of cockeyed. Otherwise, it could actually, you know, scratch up the sides of your cap. So get it lined up, pushed in, make sure the wire form's sitting inside, and then tighten it down. So you might have to pull on this as you tighten. All right. Got 3 of them snugged. And there we go. So this wire form fits inside the concave. And then you can actually feed it back down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the wire a little bit from underneath and get this in place. So, all right, now I'm going to tighten up all the habit trails. So I make sure that the wire is sticking down below the playfield enough to where you can get at it. The first time I installed it, I left too much slack here, so it wasn't sticking out. Also, don't forget there is that small nut here on the plastic you need to do. So it's back here. Make sure that's tightened down before you put all these on. So now I'm going to tighten up all of the habit trails. So I've got 2 habit trails. They're both still kind of loose. Again, make sure everything's lined up properly here. Probably helps to do the middle one first. All right, last but not least, before we go down below to hook up the rest of the wiring, is you're going to want to put the concave on. So you might have to feed the futz with the wire a little bit. It should just snap right on and it will magnet in place. Voila, there's the concave on the upside. We're going to go underneath and do the wiring. I'm going to tie this in, which is also an option in the kit. Tie it into the cave insert here. There's going to be a variety of pieces and a little extension wire to actually reach this. So we're going to do that one because I kind of wanted to light up when the concave is lit. So that way it's the concave. So hang on. Okay, so to tie into this, there's going to be this little adapter bracket, which we're going to have to put up underneath. What it does is it allows you a place to do the alligator clips. So the alligator clips will actually clip onto these terminals here to provide power for the concave, so it'll light up when the insert is. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that. That is going to be a 1/4 inch 20 on there, so that will allow me to pull it out. So I just grab my 1/4 inch driver and pull that off. Okay, so next you take this little adapter board, and there's going to be a slot in the board. So you can probably kind of see it there. It's going to slot in just like that. The wires are going to come off. What that's going to do is help the alligator clips not touch each other when you do this. Also, for this mod, there is going to be a longer screw that goes in here to account for the thickness on that. So this one here is actually a Phillips screwdriver. So grab your Phillips, and we're going to tighten this down into the same location here. Get it loose, get it squared up, and then square it up with the hole before you completely tighten it down. All right, that is the little adapter. Next, grab your alligator clips, and you're going to go in. Probably you want to do that. There's little slots that this should float into. You're going to want to feed it, wrestle it up in there. These are a bit finicky, so just have some patience with that. All right, now I'm gonna screw this down a little bit more to really tighten it down, make sure it doesn't rotate. And then that puts that. So you'll have the original screw, you can put that into the back into your coin box. So this is a little extension cable. So look at which way it lines up and line it up with the notches. It only goes in one way. All right, and then down here, you're gonna hook up this last little connector here, which is gonna drop in like so. All right, so now we got the power hooked up to this board. So the concave will light up when that Kong insert is lit. All right, here's the finished install. I've got the room darkened so you can really see the lights. The cave eyes light up. Also, there's some lit inside the mouth, so when this concave insert's flashing, the concave itself is light up. So it'll be a little more interactive, give you some really cool effects. So this is a pretty easy install. You can do this yourself with some basic tools, so give it a try. That wraps up another how-to install video. Today we had put on the concave mod by Diddy's Pinball in our King Kong Pro machine. Hope you liked the video. Definitely give us a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell. That way you'll know when we got more videos coming out. We're going to be doing more install videos and other kinds of pinball related videos. Plus, if you click the notification bell, you'll know when they go live. Also, we do play live pinball on Wednesdays and Sundays, both evenings. So we do live pinball. So join us then. We can talk pinball and whatever other topics come up. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.